Hi everybody, John here from the esports department, and today we're going to go over how to use our projections along with the Fantasy Labs optimizer to get the lineups that you need. There is a lot of nuance to using our projections, so I hope everybody watches this video. It's going to be very important. Share it around if you need to anybody you know that's using the site. This one's going to be a really important one. If you've looked at a few different sites and seen their projections, you might notice that our projections and other sites' projections are wildly off. They're large differences. There's a huge reason for that, and that's that the esports department model and algorithm projects in wins. And this is very important because it's one of the biggest mistakes that other sites are making with their projections. League of Legends players average wildly different numbers in wins and losses because of the way that the game works and the way that it snowballs, the kills that get picked up at the end of games once your team is ahead. Winning players score a lot more than losing players on average. So if you have a player that averages, say, 100 points when they win, 40 points when they lose, other sites are just projecting them at 70, right in the middle of those two. We have a much more advanced algorithm, and it's projecting entirely in wins, because if players on your lineup lose, for the most part, you won't have any success unless everybody else in your tournament also has losing players, which is basically never going to happen unless you're playing something like Heads Up. What you need to know is their winning scores, and that's what we've projected for you, is what they're going to score when their team wins. We have them in 2 zeros and 2 1s. I highly recommend using the 2 zeros. The 2 0 column I think is going to be the most efficient for you. If you really have a matchup that you think is super close and you think one team's going to get a game for one reason or another, you can use the 2-1 projections as well. There is one major hitch with projecting in wins, and this is what I needed to make this video to get across to everybody. Because we're projecting in wins, all the players' projections are very high. If you look over here, we're projecting them only as if they win. Light projected for 100.5, Jumang 105.19. If you leave all the players in the player pool and you just optimize a lineup, you're very often going to get lineups full of huge underdogs, because underdogs very often are very high scoring when they do happen to win games, but they rarely ever win. You need to immediately eliminate anybody that you don't think is going to win from your player pool. That's how you have to use these projections. If you just shove them in there like this, you're going to get a lineup that is a complete mixture of these teams with probably Light or Jumang in basically every lineup, both on teams that should be underdogs on this slate. And that's not what you want to be doing, especially not if you're a cash game player, if you're a heads up player. So the very first thing you have to do when you're using in-win projections is eliminate the players from the teams that you do not think are going to win. So let's start with that real quick. Let's just assume that we think that EDG and Suning are going to win. If we make that assumption, we can eliminate the LNG players, knock them right out of the player pool. We can eliminate the WE players. And then Labs has included a few players from this slate that are really unlikely to play, so I'll eliminate them from the player pool real quickly as well. And I think at the moment, yes, okay. Then we just go to my pool, and now we are down to, we should have 5 players from each team and the team slot. These are the players that we think are actually going to play. Keep in mind you have to do this at every position, so we would have to go over to these other positions and eliminate anybody that's from WE, eliminate anybody we don't think is playing, and when you do that, you're going to end up with this here. I wanted to run through this whole process with you guys so you can see that even though it seems like a bit of an annoyance, it won't take very long to do this process that I'm talking about, and we are working with Fantasy Labs to try to get them to auto-load our projections into our version of their optimizer, and I'm hoping that will come very soon, but for the moment, we have to take a different process. So one way you can handle this is, now that we have only the players that we want to use, we can just go Audi 80.77. You can literally just click this box and go 80.77, and now we'll have Audi at 80.77. If you want a way that I think is slightly easier, you can go to our page over here, go to the top, there's a button that says copy. You click copy, and then just go to a Google spreadsheet or an Excel spreadsheet or something. You can just paste it right there. Now you can just go on a copy and paste spree. So Audi, boom, he's also a top laner, so you have to go change him in both captain and top. Junjia, there's that, and change him in jungle. And like I said, I wanted to do this entire process in the video so that you can see that It really doesn't take that long, even though it's kind of annoying. Once we get it fixed so that these projections will automatically go into here, that'll be great, and it will be even more of a time saver. But it really is only a few minute process here. Then we need to go down and do the Sunning players. Bin. SOFM. Angel. One Fang. And Sword Art. Our team projections are going to be up later today, but for the moment I'm going to just use a straight 55, which I think is a reasonable average for a series win. Usually it might be a little bit higher than that, but that's a 2-0 series win. Once all this information is entered, you are set to go. You literally just click optimize, it's going to give you a lineup. There you go. That's the lineup that it's optimized for you based on the projections that we've given, the salaries. It's fantastic in that regard. If you go to multi-lineups, you can set any sort of rules that you wanted to set. Say you want to have 4 players from Sunning in every lineup. Let's just kill that. We'll add a rule, 4 players from Sunning, save settings. I've talked about this before, but if you want to do stacks, which I think in general is a smart idea, don't include the team as a member of your stack. You can go over here if you think that Sunning is going to be the highest scoring team and you really want Sunning players in your lineup, just take Sunning team out of the equation and let it optimize using only EDG team. Now it's giving me 4 Sunning actual players in every lineup. The team slot does not correlate to the players, so a high scoring game does not necessarily mean that the players will score higher, or that the team will score higher. It means the players will score higher. If you ever need to bring somebody back, just go to excluded players, just pop him back in there. Now he's back in the pool. And that is essentially how you use it. I'll show you a couple extra little things if you want. If you ever need to, you can download our projections as an Excel file. You can download them as a CSV. If you go over to Google Sheets, take this, throw it down here real quick. You can just go open, upload, pop it right in there. And you can see it just brings up the projections right there. Over on Fantasy Labs, they have an editable template. If you go to upload, if you go to template, you can go download template. If you open that with Google Sheets, then you will get this, and you can go ahead and edit this if you like and upload. I have run into some problems using that upload process. We'll try to see if there's any sort of issues with that, but that is the process for it. You can copy paste as well, anything you need to do there. You need to have the correct header rows, but you can do that there. That is how you use the projections, guys. Most important thing, just remember, eliminate the players you do not want to play, because we are doing in-win projections, so you only want players that are in wins. That's the only time the projections are going to be accurate, so that's where you want to be at. Thanks everybody for following along, and good luck tailing along with me and everybody over at the esports department.